Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having a great day. We're going to take a look here at ALGO, see what's going on. Haven't covered this in a few weeks here, so good stuff. Thanks again so much for the request. I apologize, I forgot who requested this here. Algorand, who was it? I think I'm going back in time here. It was... There we go, Hazel. Thank you so much for requesting that. We're going to take a look at some backend data and double check a few things first. Let's kind of see where we're at with liquidation, because I believe this is an available chart on HighBlock, which is good. And then we'll go ahead and jump into the charts too. And just before we get started, just to ask you to quickly hit the like button if you don't mind. It helps grow the channel, get this in front of more people, and potentially prohibit people from getting destroyed by moon boys, always saying something's going to go to the moon just because they think the chart looks pretty. All right, we're going to take a look at the liquidation levels first on the left-hand side. We can recognize a few things first. We're right smack dab in the middle of a lot of liquidation, so both upside and downside. This is common in rectangular patterns, so you may not see it, but there's an obvious channel where we've established higher, a retest of a high and retest of a low, and those areas are effectively creating these large liquidation levels. So there's no need to count it all up, but it's a decent amount. The higher, the deeper the red, the more there is there. So we can kind of see pretty straightforward. Just above the most recent high, just below the most recent low is a lot of liquidation. The monthly also tells us the same thing. It's just a heavier concentration. So 11.5 upwards about just say 13 even. Okay, so that's kind of the range. But we're smack dab in the middle of that. So this doesn't really help us understand like, hey, the price is going to move here because we got liquidation right at this point. It's a bit of a spread. We can also see here too as well that the delta is remaining consistent. It's up and down, consistent with the market highs and lows. So now that we are getting closer to the top here, we're starting to see more shorts start to dissipate as they continue to close their position, either in profit or before they hit a stop loss. So not too much really to tell us there at that point. In fact, let's go ahead and quickly double check the open interest here. I want to see kind of where we're at with this guy and just double check. We see the most amount of interest here at about 12.3. It's just above the price action. So longs are in the red, shorts are in profit. So we can see more shorts are profitable at this point on this coin, which makes sense. It's generally not really a favorable long type of trading day, or even the last couple of days, honestly. A lot of coins are struggling. This coin does kind of look like that. Let's quickly double check a few things. We'll draw out some fibs here based on the local macro. Kind of go from there. I get the question a lot, how to draw out your fib lines correctly. Well, generally speaking, fib levels, you want to take the local high to local low, or the local low to local high, depending on what direction it's heading. It's moving down, so obviously we go from high to low. In this case here, we can see this 0.382 and the macro point of control at 12.6 as that local resistance range. We've seen it tested multiple times as that rectangle I was talking about, where the price is kind of stuck within a range, okay? And you can see this reflected on the liquidation pretty easy too, but generally speaking, we got a pretty solid range here. So this is a bearish rectangle pattern, just so you understand, because it originated from the top side. So the likelihood of the price breaking down from here is greater, especially with Bitcoin being fairly well topped out. Again, I'm not really a subscriber to these monumental, astronomical like price action movements. Some people seem to think that every 4 years we're going to see that. And heck, I even made a video on a 4-year cycle. So don't get me wrong, I totally get the concept, but it just feels like the last 4 years have been so much different than the previous cycles that I really don't think we're really in a situation where we're going to see a parabolic run from Bitcoin. It could happen from a fundamental standpoint based on what's going on with the election and all that, but I think it's still low probability. Regardless of that fact, even if Bitcoin runs to 100,000, coins like this may still continue to struggle until they break free from the resistance zones, which from a macro perspective, I would say is probably like 14 or 15 cents. We can see there's some local highs that are having difficulty. Either way you look at it, the whole point of this is just to let you know that this is a bearish sign. We want to kind of respect the fact that the price could pull back, and it's best to just kind of anticipate that, right? So, bearish rectangle. All right. So what we want to look at next is just some moving averages, kind of recognize where we're at. We are below the 20, the 50, the 100, pretty much every single moving average, right? So that's not a good sign. Keep in mind, we just barely broke above the 20 and came right back down below it. The MACD is trying to converge, which is generally a favorable sign. And we are stuck under 50 in the RSI and money flow index right there with it. So we kind of got this weird little situation where the price wants to break out but hasn't yet. And again, a lot of it hinges on this descending trend. So you can kind of see this descending trend line here where it kind of tells us that we are probably more likely to see further downside until it breaks this trend. But again, it's really close to breaking the trend, so also not necessarily a bad thing. Here, let's tighten this up just a little bit there. There we go. Cool. All right. So that's kind of what we're looking at here so far. Let's go ahead and look at the 4-hour time frame and see where we're at, and double check this here too, because to me the 4 hour is really good at transitioning, like telling us what's going to happen next. We're over the 20 and tentatively the 50-day SMA. That's a good sign. And as you can kind of see, all the moving averages are like all over the place, right? But for some reason, this descending trend line seems to be an important indication of what's going on, right? That's why trends are your friend. We broke above the trend, and now we're performing a bullish backtest of this trend. So the likelihood of the price going up from here is greater than going down based on that sentiment, okay? Now again, we want to confirm that the smaller timeframes have more bullish than bearish signs. It kind of looks like it does, but again, range-bound activity can be very deceiving. So if we take a look here at the RSI, we can recognize we're over 50, but kind of sort of breaking below. Money flow index is high, and stochastic pulling back. it's kind of a mess, right? I don't really like to trade into stuff like this. So just completely being frank with you here, the macro does look bearish. This transitionary time frame is really trying. It's over the moving averages. It's broken its descending trend line with the bullish backtest of this descending trend line. Okay, so hypothetically, if we close at 12.3 or higher today, we should see further upside. You just got to recognize that with Bitcoin pulling back, look at how Algorand's performing compared to Bitcoin. Okay, this is Bitcoin's chart, basically higher highs and higher lows. And right now, it's essentially testing 68K. We take a look at Algorand. It's making parallel highs and parallel lows stuck in a range. So that doesn't give me a big vote of confidence to take it long right now. All right, again, seems like a statistical nightmare. Taking a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can confirm we're above the cloud, lagging spans within, conversion lines above the baseline, or just breaking below rather. It's, oh man, this is a mess. This is not a kind of situation you want to trade. So the easy way to understand it here is that, the way that the range-bound activity is working, hypothetically the price will continue lower to retest this, just say 11.9 to 12 cent range. Hypothetically, along at that point would be potentially successful due to the fact that this coin continues to retest highs and lows like it has been, okay? I just got to recognize there could be a really big move if Bitcoin decides to make a run towards 67K. My money's on the price going down for Algorand in the overall sense before it comes back up. Again, just a sweep of that lower liquidation makes perfect sense. Once more, that's kind of just how the trading patterns tend to work. So either way you look at it, I'll post our playout chart here on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord, and just kind of go from there. But I do want to say thanks again so much for the awesome feedback. Don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. Join us over at Bitunix, folks. This exchange is phenomenal. No KYC or VPN required. You have until the end of the month to benefit from this bonus. You may as well try it out, see if you like them or not. To those who have used this is specific for my community, make sure you take advantage of this too. This is just an available option for all of our community members because Bitunix takes really good care of us. So thanks again, folks. And thank you to Bitunix for just an awesome opportunity for our community members, those living in the US, Canada alone. Those are the two countries most of my subscribers trade in, and it's nice to have an option for you. All right, thanks again. We'll see you all in the next one. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.